Good day everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's me, Magtarayo. I have a great news for all of you who are interested to come live and immigrate here in Canada. 2020 has been a great year to fulfill your dreams of moving and living here in Canada. A lot of programs are being created and launched to help people who aspire to immigrate here in Canada. And one of it is the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. If you want to learn about it, please watch the video until the end. If this is your first time to be watching my video, I create videos and give tips and advice to people who are interested to come live and immigrate here in Canada. And if you are one of them, please hit the subscribe button below to get notifications whenever I upload new videos. Click the thumbs up and share, and I would appreciate that. The Northern and Rural Immigration Pilot is a community-driven program. It is created to help the smaller communities boost its economic immigration by creating pathways for permanent residence for foreign skilled workers who intend to live in these particular communities. The communities include North Bay, Ontario, Sudbury, Ontario, Timmins, Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Thunder Bay, Ontario, Brandon, Manitoba, Altona, Rhineland, Manitoba, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Claresholm, Alberta, Vernon, British Columbia, and West Kootenay, British Columbia. If you are interested to live in one of these small communities, this might be the program for you. This program consists of 4 processes, which is very easy. First, you need to make sure that you check that you meet both IRCC eligibility requirements and the community-specific requirements. The second is to make sure that you find an eligible job with an employer in one of the participating communities. Number 3, once you get a job offer, you must submit your application for recommendation to the community. And lastly, once you get this recommendation, you could proceed in applying for your permanent residence. For you to qualify for the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program, it is must that you meet all the IRCC eligibility requirements, such as you should have a qualifying work experience or have graduated from a publicly funded post-secondary institution in the recommending community. You also must or exceed the minimum language requirements. Also, you have to meet or exceed the education requirements. You also have to prove that you have enough money or settlement fund to support yourself into the community. You must show that you intend to live in the participating community. And lastly, you must meet the community-specific requirements. If you are an international student, you are exempted from the work experience criteria. However, it is important that your credential must be from a post-secondary program of 2 years or longer. And it is also a requirement that you receive this credential no more than 18 months before you apply for permanent residence. And lastly, it has to be a program that you study in one of the communities that you are applying for at least 16 months of the last 24 months spent during the studying period. If you have a master's degree or higher, you should be studying as a full-time student for the duration of your degree. You should also have been gotten or received your degree 18 months prior to applying for permanent residence, and it is a must that you were in the community for the length of your studies. For language requirements, you must meet the minimum language requirements depending on the NOC category that the job you are applying for. It can be measured through CLB or Canadian Language Benchmarks or NCLC Niveaux de competence linguistique canadiens. I'm sorry if I have mispronounced it. I don't speak French. However, I hope you understand what I am trying to say here. For NOC 0 and A, or jobs that belong to management level, it is very important, or you must meet a minimum of CLB or NCLC 6. While if you get a job or applying for a job that belongs to NOCB, you are required to meet a minimum of CLB or NCLC 5. And lastly, if you are applying for a job that belongs to NOCC and D, you must meet a minimum of CLB or NCLC 4. For educational requirement, it is necessary that you have a Canadian high school diploma or its equivalent. It can be done through ECA or Education Credential Assessment. And it is necessary that your ECA must be less than 5 years old from the date of your application, and your ECA report has to be issued by a designated organization. For settlement funds, it is important that you meet the minimum financial requirement in order to show that you could sustain yourself when you move to the community that you are immigrating to. For example, if you are applying alone, it is necessary that you have 8,722 Canadian dollars. If you are applying together with another person, such as your spouse, you should present 10,858 Canadian dollars. If there are 3 of you immigrating here, for example, your spouse and your child, you are required to show 13,348 Canadian dollars. If there are 4 people immigrating, it is necessary to show 16,206 Canadian dollars. For 5 people applying, it is necessary that you have a minimum of 18,380 Canadian dollars. For 6 people, you have 20,731 Canadian dollars. And for 7 people or more, it is important that you have a minimum of 23,080 Canadian dollars. If you meet the said requirements, you could proceed to looking or searching for a job in a specific community that you are interested to live in. However, the job offer that you should be getting must be a full-time job. It must be a minimum of 30 hours every week. This job should not be seasonal, and your employment should be permanent. The wage or salary should meet or exceed the minimum wage as dictated by the job bank, and your experience must show that you can perform the duties of the job offered. Once you get this job offer and you meet all the requirements, you can start processing for a community recommendation. Please remember that when you are applying for this community recommendation, you should not be presenting or submitting your original documents, as you will be needing them when you're applying for permanent residence. Once you receive your recommendation from your community, you could proceed to applying for permanent residence. It is very important that you collect and make sure that you have filled out all the necessary forms and have all the necessary requirements for you to submit your application. Your application have to be completely signed and correct when you send it to Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program CIO Office in Sydney, Nova Scotia. That is about the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Program. If you think that you learned something from it, please once again hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, and share my videos. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that.